The number has been stolen. It's okay. Scammers send social death messages to the list one by one to borrow money. It's okay. Suffering from embarrassing illness due to spreading rumors. It's not a big deal. But the scammer asked his crush of 10 years to call him husband, pretending to be pitiful, and he couldn't bear it anymore. The big anchor Yu Mianmian, who has millions of followers, looked at her stolen account and received messages asking for money to cut hemorrhoids. She had already thought of 10,000 ways to say goodbye to the world, but in life, accidents always happen, and that's not a big deal. Biting teeth and cutting teeth. But it's not right or wrong. That scammer can't affectionately call his crush, the popular actor in the entertainment industry Bo Jiaye's husband. Looking at those 3 messages, Yu Mianmian couldn't help but think about where to bury her ashes. In silent tears everyone knows that the society is dead, and Yu Mianmian really feels that she is also amazing. I was already in an awkward situation, but to my surprise, my crush actually participated in the same dating variety show as me. Day 1. Secret crush. I am acting and cannot go to the scene. Yu Mianmian happily went away, and the guy from afar, who looked like a dog in secret love, smiled at him. Have you been flying past in the clouds yet? Nth day. Secret crush. We are just going to complete the task of the last program group. Yu Mianmian also went, watching her crush kneel on one knee, holding up a ring box and proposing to her. Yu Mianmian was extremely surprised. What are you doing? Keywords of the novel. After the Love Ensemble, CP fans cry and beg me to marry the best actor without a pop-up window. After the Love Ensemble, CP fans cry and beg me to marry the best actor. Download the full text. After the Love Ensemble, CP fans cry and beg me to marry the best actor. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The account was stolen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The account was stolen after finishing the live broadcast. It was already past midnight, and Yu Mianmian couldn't wait to have a date with her Simmons' big bed. Perhaps I was too tired. Although I was very tired, I closed my eyes and felt extremely clear. Finally, I reached the 999,999th sheep, and my brain had just fallen into chaos. Before I could go to a deep sleep, the phone rang. Yu Mianmian held a chicken coop head and looked at her phone with resentment. At this moment, she was eager to soak her phone in a pig cage. Disturbing people's clear dreams is simply intentional homicide. With a sigh, Yu Mianmian accepted the call obediently because it was her boss who was calling. How can a person not get along with money? This does not conform to her usual image of being devoted to wealth. Hey boss, do you know what time it is now? At January 28, 36 in the morning, you called me, wake up. You're really not afraid of my sudden death. If you're really not tired, then go on the side and don't disturb me from sleeping. The person opposite seemed to have ignored Yu Mianmian's words directly. What are you sleeping for? Open the Douyin app now. Hurry up, go check the hot search. Although puzzled, Yu Mianmian obediently followed suit. After all, the boss's words were a decree, and she dared not disobey. Watching the hot search, Yu Mianmian spoke out confidently. Hashtag cotton candy loves to eat fish and has hemorrhoids. Hashtag cotton candy loves to eat fish. Man set collapse. Hashtag the big anchor is so poor that he wants to borrow money to cut hemorrhoids. Then the next second, Yu Mianmian became incredibly clear-headed. Cotton candy loves to eat fish, isn't that her? She has hemorrhoids. Why doesn't she know? Whoever spreads rumors, if she doesn't drive a forklift and don't stab that person to death, then her surname is not Yu. The boss across from him was very visionary and covered his ears. Why is his mother QQ number stolen? Yu Mianmian's whole body looks like a kidney hormone that has been injected with 10 needles, very energetic. After a 15-minute and 30-second intellectual battle with the scammer who stole her account, Yu Mianmian finally obtained her QQ account. Good guy, the scammer stole her QQ account and sent a message to everyone on her list. The content is generally similar. Hello Lee, I'm Cotton. Could you please lend me 10,000 yuan? I need to go get my hemorrhoids treated. Teacher Chen, borrow some money and I'll go treat hemorrhoids. Baby, borrow money, I'll go get hemorrhoids. Yu Mianmian swiped the screen and then the whole person was gone. Her lifelong fame was ruined by scammers. Her beautiful girl persona. It has already broken into slag. Yu Mianmian cried while holding the blanket, but after thinking about it, there was still something important to do. She needs to clarify and clean up the mess left by the scammers. Let's sleep another day. She posted a message, a video, and even a live stream to explain why her account was hacked. It wasn't her who sent that message, but despite this, she still became a laughing stock in countless people's spare time. Yu Mianmian is currently in a state of great sadness. No one can save her. She gained 300,000 followers on the Jiaye Dog app in just half an hour as a member of the Dead Society. Completed the company's assessment ahead of schedule. But she would rather not finish it. Fortunately, her fan baby still loves her. Watching the warm encouragement on the barrage, Yu Mianmian felt a little touched. User 4652-648-9489. Cotton, it's not uncomfortable, we're all here. I love Cotton 1314. Do Cotton need a lawyer? My Cotton at home hurts me. Cotton, go to bed first. Come back tomorrow to handle these matters. Watching the constantly rolling barrage. Yu Mianmian's thousands of words are all combined into one sentence. Thank you very much, everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 13th prime number. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 13th prime number. The heartfelt hearts of their own fans on the barrage are incomparable. Yu Mianmian said many thanks, and seeing so many words to comfort her, the grievances in her heart slowly dissipated. Anyway, I can't sleep anymore, so I decided not to sleep. While chatting with the connected fans, I flipped through my phone screen and explained to them one by one. Suddenly, my hand froze on the phone screen. At first glance, in the chat box list filled with notes of real names, the person's profile picture and the notes she gave appeared particularly special. 13th prime number. Click on it. The scammer surprisingly didn't mind the pain in his hands and sent 3 messages. I like you. Shy.jpg shy.jpg shy.jpg, husband, are you there, unable to afford medical treatment, pitiful. JPG cried loudly. JPG, for a moment, Yu Mianmian's heart lifted up to her throat. But on second thought, after celebrities enter the entertainment industry, who will still keep their previous accounts? My heart has relaxed a lot again. Looking at the black avatar and the notes she gave to others, Yu Mianmian smiled self-deprecatingly. Yu Mianmian had a person in her heart, who had been thinking about it for many years, but still dared not express her love. Who knew that one day the scammer who stole his own account would confess first? Leaving her memories, Yu Mianmian stared at the few messages and was stunned when her phone shook in her palm. Yu Mianmian stared at the screen, dumbfounded. Open the red envelope and look at the amount inside. It's 200 yuan. The maximum amount of QQ red envelope is 200. Good guy, this person just sent it without asking her, wouldn't they really want to send her enough money to cut hemorrhoids? Before I could react, my phone kept ringing one after another, shaking me almost out of Yu Mianmian's palm. Look over, one red envelope after another. Yu Mianmian quickly began to explain. Without explanation, it's really too late. Stop and stop, my account has been stolen, I'm not sick. The message was sent out with difficulty, followed by a few red envelopes. Yu Mianmian felt a bit embarrassed, but later realized that she had started her emo again. It's all because of that scammer. What a social death. She died in society with others, and even when someone posted her, it didn't matter. Why did Bo Jiaye know that? He shouldn't be working hard on his scenes on the set. A surging sense of shame rushed towards her, and Yu Mianmian was feeling unwell all over. I touched my face, glanced at the screen, and it seemed that there was no need to continue the live broadcast. Yu Mianmian said goodbye to the audience in the live broadcast room and then left the room. Bury down and continue to clean up the aftermath for the scammer. Yu Mianmian tapped her phone, getting increasingly angry as she tapped. No matter how unlucky it was, she caught up. Recently, it has been really a water reversal. I dropped my phone in the bathroom. Lock yourself outside the door when you go out. Losing money one after another. QQ, which has been used for so many years, has been hacked. These things really make her grit her teeth. It's just embarrassing. Spending money is really unbearable for Yu Mianmian. It must be because I haven't visited the god of wealth recently. It seems that she needs to make time to pay her respects to the god of wealth, so as not to anger him and leave her wallet empty. In the blink of an eye, the phone rang again. Yu Mianmian threw her phone on the desk and kept moving back, not wanting to answer it at all. But not answering is not acceptable. Jiang Feng, that profiteering businessman, dares to rush directly to her house later. Hello. Mr. Jiang. Yu Mianmian's extremely pleasing tone not only did not lower the anger of her own boss Jiang, but also increased her anger. Jiang Feng's voice was really gritting his teeth. Cotton, you brought me the truth for me. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Lord go to clean up the troubles for you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Lord go to clean up the troubles for you. Listen to my sophistry. No, 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 you listen to my explanation. Yu Mianmian obediently explained. I just got my account stolen. Those things are really not from me. Someone must be plotting against me. Woo-woo, boss. You have a clear lesson, you can't deduct my money. Jiang Feng's expression froze on his face. He had just planned to comfort his own employees. Now think about it, that guy Yu Mianmian may not need comfort at all, but a lot of Grandpa Mao. Jiang Feng let out a roar. Yu Mianmian, you really love wealth like your life. Yu Mianmian's movement of retreating half a meter was particularly serious. Boss, who doesn't love money? People die for wealth, birds die for food. After speaking, he still chuckled foolishly. Jiang Feng's voice was as gloomy as a midnight ghost. Do you want me to drive you down to reincarnation now, dear Cotton? Then let's just say goodbye. I am still young. I don't want to say goodbye to this world. Inconsistent words described Yu Mianmian. Jiang Feng's tone has become much calmer now. What do you want to do? What can I do? I have already explained that I was hacked. Jiang Feng was very helpless. You go to bed, and I'll clean up the mess for you. Okay. Yu Mianmian quickly hung up the phone. Unable to sleep, Yu Mianmian decided to take another look at the hot search on the Douyin app. All kinds of hot search terms are about actor Bo Jiaye and famous anchor Cotton Candy not eating fish on Dido. It's all so funny. 1 second ago, Yu Mianmian was still laughing, and the next second, Yu Mianmian stood up. How did she get on the trending list with Bo Jiaye? Click on the entry. Yu Mianmian discovered that when the scammer sent a message to Bo Jiaye was live streaming with his phone facing the live broadcast camera. At the moment the message popped up, Bo Jiaye quickly clicked in. And the note given to her by Bo Jiaye is her real name. That is to say, everyone in the live broadcast room saw the message sent by the well-known anchor Cotton Candy not eating fish to Bo Jiaye. I wonder if she could be on the trending list with people like Bo Jiaye. At this moment, Yu Mianmian felt both grateful to the scammer and uncomfortable. However, the message sent by the scammer to Bo Jiaye was not about borrowing money to cut hemorrhoids. Yu Mianmian is quite pleased with this. Otherwise, she really wants to dig a pit for herself nearby and bury herself. After all, which girl is willing to send messages to her crush in this chat style? Watching the face of Bo Jiaye in the video, Yu Mianmian noticed that her heart was involuntarily beating faster. It turns out that a person who has been in love since the age of 16, at the age of 20.6, also makes her continue to be in love. While still immersed in those sweet memories of secret love, the demon boss Jiang Feng called again. Yu Mianmian trembled and took over. Jiang Feng's voice is really terrifying. Cotton, come on, let's talk about it. Why did it take so long for your name to match someone else's actor? Yu Mianmian tried her best to make her voice sound pitiful. We are just ordinary high school classmates. How did you get to know Bo Jiaye? What can I do in a class? Cut, is this something I can decide? You're okay, go find the principal. You know it's challenging me as a socialist successor. Oh, it's like this. Aha, that's it. He was just about to live stream and was caught by fans. Jiang Feng suddenly calmed down as he listened to Yu Mianmian's overflowing spring mood. Like him. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Bo Jiaye equals Dog Man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Bo Jiaye equals Dog Man, who likes him? Don't talk nonsense. He and I are just ordinary classmates. Boss, can we not be so vulgar? Jiang Fengkai didn't believe it. If it were just an ordinary classmate, the fraudster would call Bo Jiaye's husband while wearing Yu Mianmian's name on the yarn, and even send 3 unique messages. This is an honor that even his boss doesn't have. Yu Mianmian usually gives people his real name as a note, except for a few close people around him. Thinking of this, Jiang Feng became particularly curious about what Yu Mianmian had noted to Bo Jiaye. Yu Mianmian, didn't you leave a note for her husband? Jiang Feng's words were full of teasing both inside and outside, and Yu Mianmian touched her face, which was particularly hot. You shut up. Don't talk nonsense to me. You're just a dead duck with a hard mouth. It's hard to say Jiang Feng, but Yu Mianmian took the risk of hanging up her boss's phone number, fearing that if this call continued, it would expose its contents. Just as I hung up the phone, news came from Jiang Feng. Go to sleep, the young master will support you. The tone is really arrogant to the extreme. But Mr. Xiaojiang has such strength. During a phone call, hot search terms about cotton candy not eating fish and Bo Jiaye were taken down. Yu Mianmian felt a bit lost in her heart. Watching the news pop out, Yu Mianmian sighed. You are indeed a big star. This matter has become a hot topic on Weibo. Jump directly to the official blog of Bo Jiaye Studio. Looking at the clarification provided by the studio assembly line, Yu Mianmian smiled bitterly at the corner of her mouth. What is she looking forward to? After explaining to Bo Jiaye on QQ's chat interface, there was no movement across from her. Yu Mianmian was lying down staring at the ceiling. The phone rang, and Yu Mianmian didn't intend to read it at first, but after thinking for a while, with some anticipation, she still touched the phone in her hand. Bo Jiaye only replied with the word, There is nothing else. Yu Mianmian didn't know what came to her mind, staring at the note line. Bo Jiaye, a dog man. On the other side, with a sneeze, Chun-Li stared at Bo Jiaye's lost expression. You're really cowardly. Bo Jiaye was aggrieved and Baba stared at Chun-Li. Chun-Li Jie, don't you feel heartbroken when you say that to me? At least I'm also your money tree. Your money tree is so sad, and you're still watching jokes. Chun-Li was amused by Bo Jiaye's words and helplessly spread out her hands, asking Bo Jiaye very seriously. What exactly are you thinking? Bo Jiaye regained his mischievous demeanor, but his body was still shrouded in an invisible layer of sadness. "I'll go to the dating variety show you mentioned yesterday." Chen Libai glanced at Bo Jiaye. "I used to say all sorts of things before, but you just didn't want to go. This time, it's good. As soon as I know the little girl is going, I have to go." Bo Jiaye lowered his eyes with a guilty conscience. "When you told me, you didn't tell me who the guests were." Chen Li stared at Bo Jiaye with a cannibalistic expression. "Good guy, blame me." "Well, it's your fault." Rao has already gotten used to Bo Jiaye, and Chen Li now feels a bit tempted to hit someone. Chen Li, who was preparing to leave with something, suddenly turned around and stared at Bo Jiaye. "Isn't it that you like others? Why is it so official? It doesn't seem like your style at all." Bo Jiaye leaned on his forehead and looked at Chen Li's curious expression, but he refused to speak. "Finally, I was really rushed. I only said 2 words. Guess what? End of this chapter. Chapter 5. The Old Man of Shangyan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The Old Man of Shangyan. Chen Li suppressed his anger and did not argue with the money tree. As a person, how can we not get along with money? The next day. Sunshine poured freely through the gaps in the curtains, and Yu Mianmian on the bed anxiously tugged at the blanket, pulling it up to her head and completely covering herself. "I am still muttering about myself in my heart. I really have vision. I chose a curtain with a wake-up call service. My mind is about to give up work and continue sleeping." Yu Mianmian suddenly opened her eyes, sat up, and grabbed at her messy hair. "I took the initiative to call Jiang Feng and watched as the call was answered." Yu Mianmian was a bit surprised. After all, her boss doesn't seem to be someone who wakes up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Jiang Fengyan's pitiful voice, through the network cable, directly froze most of Yu Mianmian's body. "Did you sleep well?" "I didn't sleep well. Yu Mianmian, I believe you're a ghost." Even if Jiang Feng is not here, he knows that Yu Mianmian is now smiling and wanting to be beaten. Yu Mianmian tentatively asked, "How did this matter be resolved?" "I sent an apology statement." "It's so simple." Jiang Feng bit his back teeth. "You asked me to finish speaking." Okay, boss, please speak up." "I'm listening." Yu Mianmian was particularly naughty, but after listening to Jiang Feng's words, her whole body was not doing well. "I'm not going to participate in that romantic variety show. Isn't this all resolved? Why do you still force me to participate in that romantic variety show?" Jiang Feng suddenly didn't know how to speak, and finally remembered a set of words. When he looked at his phone, he was actually hung up and called again, indicating that the other person was on the phone. Jiang Feng is helpless. Yu Mianmian is currently annoyed when her best friend calls. Yu Mianmian opened the phone and amplified it, then threw it aside. The sound I heard almost pierced Yu Mianmian's eardrums through her phone. "Yu Mianmian, to be honest, what did you do behind my back? Didn't you have no contact with all your high school classmates? Why did you just call Bo Jiaye's husband? Good guy, you're not in love anymore. Don't tell me anything. The more you hear and speak, the more aggrieved you become. It seems like the next second can give Yu Mianmian a Pacific cry. Are you going to search for my name that I'm shaking? Listen and do it obediently. I haven't seen much yet, but when I heard it, it exploded. I wiped it, I just took a nap. How could so much have happened? Did you take a nap?" Upon hearing this, there was a smirk. "That's not the old man Shangyan. He didn't do it for 3 months, and when he came back, he almost killed me." Yu Mianmian doesn't know what to say anymore. "Are you still alive? Smell and touch my trembling legs. Don't worry, sisters are strong enough." Speaking, he wiped away the tears that did not exist at the end of his eyes with his fingertips. Before hanging up on the phone, she was still telling Yu Mianmian that if she needed help, she would go find her cheap husband. Yu Mianmian listened and evaded other topics. Upon hearing about the successful business alliance with her husband, she often mutters that it won't last long, and if one day she leaves she still doesn't want to be a roadblock for sisters to be single. Yu Mianmian shook her head and didn't let herself continue thinking. Hanging up the phone, Yu Mianmian was in a daze. Jiang Feng's phone can finally be called. The phone was connected, but neither of them paid attention to each other. Jiang Feng let out a sigh. If you start saying you won't participate, then we won't participate either. It's just a variety show. But Yu Mianmian's ears were so eager to stand up in the sky. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Wang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Wang. Jiang Feng curled his lips, listened to the commotion over there, opened his mouth, and continued to output wildly, step by step, coaxing slowly. He was bound to lure Yu Mianmian into the big pit he had dug for her. What happened? You've been hanging on the hot search page of Jiaye Dog these past few days. You have to cover up other things. It doesn't matter if you spit, it's okay if someone spits on you. Indeed, both our family and that one have issued clarification notices, but if you think about it, the scammer who borrowed your account is calling Bo Jiaye's husband. Think about his fans. Can't you prove that you really have nothing to do with him? Anyway, participating in this variety show has more advantages than disadvantages. In a few words, Yu Mianmian was taken into Jiang Feng's sleeve. However, it has not been fully integrated either. Jiang Feng listened to the even breathing sound across from him. How about going or not? I won't go. At least Yu Mianmian is also a popular anchor. She has never encountered any kind of fans before. Isn't it just those girlfriend fans? If there's nothing, it's nothing. They can still blindly label themselves. Jiang Feng thought for a moment. Are you really not going? I won't go. Who deceives who is a puppy? I won't go even if I die. Jiang Feng looked at the proposed guest candidates on the contract. Bo Jiaye is also going. After speaking, Yu Mianmian fell silent. Why, this is about to be mute. I'll go. Jiang Feng stared at the photo of Bo Jiaye on the computer screen. You really don't resist temptation. Whoever just said that, you won't even go to death. Yu Mianmian thought for a moment. Wang, listening to this answer, Jiang Feng was also drunk. Women. What the most wonderful creatures in the world. It's really amazing. Catch, touch, no, it's not transparent, busy with you. By the way, your year-end KPI indicator this time needs to be increased by 500,000 on the basis of the current number of fans. After speaking, Jiang Feng quickly hung up the phone. Turn around and send a message to someone. Brother, the task is completed on the other side. Yu Mianmian looked at the phone and bit her teeth a few times. She really wanted to kill Jiang Feng. The phone rang, and Yu Mianmian thought it was Jiang Feng, so she came up and cursed loudly. Jiang Feng, you bastard, who asked you to hang up my phone? You wait, sooner or later we'll kill you. Suddenly, a smile came from across, and Yu Mianmian's eyes suddenly opened. She looked at a treasure and carefully picked up her phone. Yu Mianmian looked at the unfamiliar and familiar number on her phone, feeling somewhat incredulous. Stuttering, Bo Jiaye. Bo Jiaye covered his chest and suppressed the excitement in his heart. Yu Mianmian, it's me. Yu Mianmian blinked her eyes. You. It's not difficult to get your phone number. Oh. Neither of them spoke up, and the atmosphere fell into an indescribable awkwardness. Yu Mianmian trembled her lips. Sorry, I didn't expect my account to be stolen during the early hours of the morning. Bo Jiaye lowered his head and stared at an old red rope on his wrist. It's understandable, don't feel uncomfortable either. Returning to silence. Yu Mianmian can't stand her appearance anymore. What are you calling me for? I heard that you also took on the variety show, 99 Days of First Love. It's nice to work with you. Me too. Hanging up the phone, Yu Mianmian still felt a bit unreal. A certain green software suddenly prompted a new contact to add oneself, and Yu Mianmian clicked on it. A sentence lay quietly above. I am Bo Jiaye, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. 99 Days of First Love. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7, 99 Days of First Love. Yu Mianmian stared at those words for a while. What is secret love? There is a wilderness in my heart, covered with wild grass, with waves rolling in the wind. It is clearly possible to take shortcuts. However, Yu Mianmian stubbornly and seriously typed the 3 words, Bo Jiaye, as a note. This oolong incident still brought some sequelae. Indeed, a few brainless fans came to criticize Yu Mianmian, but she didn't take it seriously and deleted them as spam messages. The fan on the other side may feel that after punching cotton for a few days, they stopped harassing. Bo Jiaye's fan name is sweet and crispy, and they don't care about it. They only consider a well-known anchor to be a fan of their brother. This idea is due to Bo Jiaye. After all these years of debut, I have always publicly stated that I have a crush on a girl. His filming of the cruise CP is also limited to a special time period, and usually after the drama is aired, there is no wave left. Over time, Bo Jiaye became known as the affectionate actor. Every time I see it, Yu Mian cotton quickly cuts over, making me feel uncomfortable. Thinking of her crush being secretly in love with someone else, Yu Mianmian felt like a pot of old jealousy. Sour tooth loss. Xia Cece rushed into Yu Mianmian's house with breakfast in hand, looking at the raised hill on the bed. She went up directly to pick up Yu Mianmian's blanket, twisted her ears, and pulled him up. Although Yu Mianmian had complaints, she dared not provoke them. 1 minute, 1 minute. Not even a second. Xia Cece stared at Yu Mianmian. What are you doing today? Did you forget? What do I need to do? Of course I need to sleep, otherwise how can I live stream at night? Xia Cece wrapped her arms around her. Yu Mianmian, I count 3, 2, 1, 3. Yu Mianmian ran into the bathroom. Putting down breakfast, Xia Cece continued to stare at Yu Mianmian. Today is your meeting day for the guests of 99 Days of First Love, and you don't even care at all. I don't have any, I have such a long heart. In fact, Yu Mianmian's heart is really complicated. She accepted it because of Bo Jiaye, but now she dare not go, it's still because of Bo Jiaye. Suddenly remembered something, Bo Jiaye said last night that he was not available today. Yu Mianmian is ready again for a while. Xia Cece looked at Yu Mianmian like this and felt that the child was foolish. Yu Mianmian brushed her teeth, her head spinning and spinning. Since Bo Jiaye added her on WeChat, I have been chatting with her for a while every day. After a few days, every night, Yu Mianmian surprisingly looked forward to the news from Bo Jiaye. When realizing this, Yu Mianmian wanted to undergo cold treatment. But when he saw the message sent by Bo Jiaye, his hands were faster than his brain. 99 Days of First Love is the first love show in China. There are 12 guests, 6 men and 6 women, who will be voted by netizens to choose each pair of CPs. After the CPs are formed, each pair will live together for 90.9 days. During this process, the program team needs to complete 90.9 essential dating tasks for couples and various unknown selection tasks. Not to mention, this whole person is quite looking forward to it. Although Yu Mianmian knew that Bo Jiaye was also among the 12 guests, she dared not have any ulterior motives. Hesitation moment. We arrived at the office building of the director of the variety show. This director is an amazing character, but Yu Mianmian forgot exactly how amazing he is. She's not in this circle, so it's meaningless to remember. Xia Cece pinched Yu Mianmian's arm. What's bothering you again? Hurry up and get off the car. We're already late, and if we're the last one later, you'll be finished. You can't even cry in time. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Her Gossip Boyfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Her gossip boyfriend Yu Mianmian likes to be someone with little presence. So don't be the first or the last. However, when it comes to bad luck, it's really like drinking cold water and getting stuck in one's teeth. Yu Mianmian looked at the people crowded in the entire elevator, with a stiff smile on her face. If it weren't for Xia Cici's timely reminder, Yu Mianmian might have been staring blankly like this. Glancing at Xia Cici, Yu Mianmian gritted her teeth. It's all your fault for being so anxious. Xia Cici widened her eyes in confusion. I pointed at myself incredulously and stared at my own cotton with my head tilted. Bo Jiaye pressed the button that controlled the elevator door switch and looked at Yu Mianmian. Don't you come in. Thank you. Yu Mianmian glanced at the group of people in the elevator, including her and her family Xia Cici, as well as Bo Jiaye and his agent. In the corner, there was also a pair of celebrities and agents. But the celebrity was wearing a mask, and Yu Mianmian couldn't tell who it was. The agent's face has never been seen in the short video. The more puzzled one is, the more eager they are to learn. Glancing at Xia Cici. Boy, no one can guess. Bo Jiaye didn't even glance at Yu Mianmian, feeling a bit uneasy in his heart. Chenli bypassed Bo Jiaye and stared at Yu Mianmian. Hello, I am Chenli, the agent of Bo Jiaye. Yu Mianmian nodded. Hello, I am Yu Mianmian. Chenli smiled gently. But there were also some emotions that Yu Mianmian couldn't understand inside. I know you. Yu Mianmian stared at Chenli, her memories being frantically tossed back and forth, and she couldn't find any footage of meeting Chenli. The man in black, almost like a transparent person, took off his mask, looked at Yu Mianmian, and then looked at Bo Jiaye. Chenli is your rumored boyfriend's agent, can we not recognize you? Yu Mianmian's face turned red. Bo Jiaye stared at the speaker with a warning, his voice suppressed. Cheng Yi, close your mouth for me. Cheng Yi and Chenli looked at each other, they had known each other for so long, and it was the first day they saw such an angry and embarrassed Bo Jiaye. It's really strange that makes people want to continue being cheap. Yu Mianmian suddenly remembered who Cheng Yi was. A celebrity who has been plagued by rumors during this period. It seems like I just signed a contract with the company where Bo Jiaye works. Anyway, looking at Cheng Yi, Yu Mianmian surprisingly had a feeling of being like a person from afar. The misfortune of the original family will accompany you for a lifetime. Cheng Yi may have noticed the pitiful gaze that fell on him. If you continue to stare at me, someone's jealousy jar will probably explode. Yu Mianmian glanced at Bo Jiaye and then lowered her head. Teacher Bo and I are just classmates. Cheng Yi looked at Bo Jiaye's gradually darkened face and thought for a moment, but still felt that he shouldn't be cheap. Otherwise, it won't be easy for him later. Out of the elevator, out of some tacit understanding. Bo Jiaye and Yu Mianmian walked at the end of the team. Yu Mianmian stared at Bo Jiaye's profile. Didn't you say you had work today yesterday? Bo Jiaye stared at Yu Mianmian's sincere eyes with ease. You asked me last night just to avoid me, right? Yu Mian's quilt made her feel a little uneasy. That's what you said, I didn't say it. Bo Jiaye continued to look ahead, but his words gradually penetrated into Yu Mianmian's ears. Your eyes said. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. People passing through flowers, leaves not staying on the body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. People passing through flowers, leaves not staying on the body. Yu Mianmian touched her own eyes. The smile at the corner of my mouth couldn't help it. Looking at Bo Jiaye's back, he quickly followed up. Bo Jiaye listened to the voice behind him, then slowed down his pace and waited for the little lamb with extremely poor sense of direction behind him. Opening the door, I looked at the people who had already arrived inside. Just as Yu Mianmian was stunned, she was pushed in by Xie Sisi. Turning around, I saw the door slowly closing. Yu Mianmian's smile froze on her face. I already thought about deducting Xie Sisi's salary in my heart. Everyone introduced each other and then went to find people they were familiar with. Yu Mianmian looked at Zhou Pengpeng, and the two of them were like a fellow villager seeing a fellow villager, tears streaming down their faces. Why did you come too? Zhou Pengpeng lowered her voice. With a lot of money, I came. The two people's eyes met in the air. After 12 people were gathered one after another, the director also came out to say hello. Yu Mianmian silently recited the 3 words, Jiang Yuexin, feeling like she had heard them somewhere before. Being pulled down by Zhou Pengpeng, Yu Mianmian finally realized. Listening to the director's words, Yu Mianmian only felt dizzy. Watching Xie Sisi here, Yu Mianmian felt even more at ease. This initial meeting didn't take too long, and after it ended, everyone restrained themselves and added each other as friends. Yu Mianmian looked at Zhou Pengpeng, who had just been pulled in by the director's team for an interview, and then stared at Xie Sisi. Xie Sisi slowly approached with a clear expression on her face. Did you just listen? Xie Sisi nodded and then looked at Yu Mianmian. You didn't listen at all, did you? Of course not. They will live together for 3 days and then determine their future partners for each episode through online voting. Thinking of living together, Yu Mianmian felt a bit scared in her heart. Everyone comes from all walks of life and is not very familiar with relationships. Headache. See Bo Jiaye again. Yu Mianmian didn't expect it. Looking at Jiang Feng's flattering expression, Yu Mianmian's head was marked with a question mark. Guessing the relationship between Chenli and Jiang Feng. Chenli smiled and stared at Yu Mianmian. Miss Yu, I am a married woman, and my relationship with Mr. Jiang is not the kind you guessed. Although Chenli had already spoken very politely, Yu Mianmian still felt that her face was extremely hot and dry. Shameful. Think about it, Yu Mianmian happily blamed her own boss for the reason. Who calls Jiang Fengren to pass through the flowers without touching the leaves? Yu Mianmian looked at the two people sitting opposite her. What are you here for? Chenli hooked her lips. Apologize. Yu Mianmian frowned slightly and then stared at Jiang Feng. She doesn't quite understand, even if she wants to apologize, it should be her. Although she is not the fraudster herself, the fraudster used her account to send those misleading words to Bo Jiaye. Not all fan groups are true fans. If it has caused you some trouble, I am truly sorry. Bo Jiaye's bright and lively eyes stared at Yu Mianmian, who didn't even know what to do for a moment. Jiang Feng did not know what to complain about. Looking at Bo Jiaye, Jiang Feng had only 4 words in his mind. Install molds and make samples. This is my problem. I was supposed to apologize, but you all worked hard to make it. Chenli handed the business card to Yu Mianmian. It's okay, everyone will become friends in the future. Here is my contact information. Miss Yu, if you need any help, just speak up generously. Good. After seeing off the guests, Jiang Feng returned and looked at Yu Mianmian, who was lost in thought. He knew that Yu Mianmian's thoughts had already flown into the sky. Yu Mianmian has indeed flown. The whole person is floating. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Neighbors. Bo Jiaye. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Neighbors. Bo Jiaye. She actually shook hands with Bo Jiaye. Looking at her hands, Yu Mianmian felt that she could hold back from washing her hands for a month. Jiang Feng couldn't help but glance at Yu Mianmian's worthless smile. Hurry up and get back to me. You have another live broadcast tonight. Good on the car. Bo Jiaye looked at his trembling hands and really didn't know how to roast about himself. Chen Li looked disdainfully at Bo Jiaye. You, with that face on your face, you don't even know how to make good use of it. You can't even catch up with a girlfriend, it's really useless. Bo Jiaye felt somewhat helpless. Li Jie, Bo Jiaye's face is the best weapon. Defeat people. Chen Li froze and smiled. If she knew it was like this, she wouldn't say much. After all, no one can handle a beautiful woman. Returning home, Yu Mianmian was still floating. Looking around, Yu Mianmian decided to cut the video herself. When I went out to get takeout, as soon as the elevator door opened, there were workers from a well-known moving company dressed in uniform. Yu Mianmian flashed far away. After seeing the people from the moving company come out, she squeezed into the elevator and looked at the direction of the people. Suddenly, Yu Mianmian supported the elevator door with one hand and a head popped out. Wow, the neighbor from the apartment next to her has actually returned. She has been living here for 5 or 6 years. I have never met her neighbor before. Others say that the owner of this 2002 apartment is either wealthy, and buying it here is just to seek feng shui. Yu Mianmian shrugged her shoulders. The disparity in the world. The live broadcast is from 7 to 9 o'clock, and today is not actually a live broadcast for selling goods. After thinking about it, Yu Mianmian chose to live stream and cook. Her craftsmanship was forced out. During the cooking break, take a glance at the screen. Watching the praise from her fans, Yu Mianmian felt her tail curled up in the sky. The cooking skills of cotton candy look really good. I really want to eat, my mouth is watering. The host's great cooking skills really make me salivate. I think cotton candy can also transform from a beauty blogger to a food blogger. No, the lowly university animal still wants to follow the cotton candy to collect wool. Yu Mianmian's live broadcast ended prematurely, and just as it ended, she heard knocking on the door outside. Looking at Bo Jiaye, who was tightly covered outside the door, Yu Mianmian was shocked. How do you know where my family is? Before Bo Jiaye could speak, he was locked outside the door, staring at the door that was only 1 centimeter away from his nose. Bo Jiaye's heart was filled with sourness. The wind in the hallway made him fold up his clothes. Yu Mianmian tiptoed anxiously and looked at the gradually cleaning living room, feeling much better. Before opening the door, take a look at your hairstyle. Sorry, you can come first. Bo Jiaye looked at Yu Mianmian's home and then looked at her. Why did you just close the door? Answer the phone. Although he knew it was a lie, Bo Jiaye chose not to expose it. Since she wants to maintain her image, then he supports it. Yu Mianmian only then noticed something was wrong with Bo Jiaye's body. May I borrow your bathroom? Yu Mianmian didn't notice how she nodded. But as soon as I turned around, I only heard the sound of the door closing. Yu Mianmian scratched her head. Is it difficult? Is he the new neighbor? What? In the first month of the new year, I brought a new book to meet everyone. I wish my dear sons and daughters all the best in the new year. The new book is still young, I hope everyone can support and encourage me. Thank you all one by one. End of this chapter.